When disaster strikes, 80% of people will be trapped in concrete jungles, not wilderness, and most survival advice completely ignores this reality. Picture this. The power grid fails across your entire city. Within minutes, traffic lights go dark, elevators stop working, and cell towers begin shutting down. While everyone else is panicking, you need to know exactly what to do. In the next 12 minutes, you'll discover the essential urban survival strategies that could save your life when the city's infrastructure collapses. From navigating blacked-out streets to finding water when the taps run dry, we're covering the critical skills they don't teach in traditional survival guides. This isn't about building shelters from tree branches. This is about surviving when civilization itself breaks down around you. Welcome to Financial Area, where we prepare you for life's biggest challenges. If this information could help someone you know, smash that like button and subscribe for more life-saving content. Let's start with a harsh truth most people refuse to accept. Cities are survival death traps waiting to spring. When most people imagine disaster survival, they picture themselves hiking through forests and living off berries. But here's the reality check. You're surrounded by concrete, glass, and steel, not trees and streams. And when disaster hits an urban environment, it's a completely different nightmare. Dense populations create resource scarcity within hours, not days. Think about your local grocery store on a normal Tuesday evening. Now imagine what happens when 50,000 panicked people descend on every store in a 20-mile radius simultaneously. Shelves empty faster than you can blink, and that's assuming the stores can even operate without power. Infrastructure dependency makes basic services vanish instantly. Your morning coffee requires electricity for the grin, dare, water pressure for brewing, and probably a credit card system that's completely offline. Multiply that across every system you rely on: elevators, traffic lights, gas pumps, ATMs, and communication networks. When the grid goes down, modern city life doesn't just slow down, it stops completely. But here's what's truly dangerous. Panic spreads faster than wildfire in confined spaces. Take a moment to think about your daily commute. Now imagine those same crowded subway platforms and packed highways when everyone simultaneously realizes they need to get home to their families. Rational people become desperate very quickly when they feel trapped. This brings us to the golden rule of urban movement. You must have multiple escape routes planned before you need them. Right now, you probably know one way to get home from work, and maybe one backup route if traffic is bad. That's not nearly enough. When disaster strikes, main roads become parking lots filled with abandoned vehicles. GPS goes offline. Street signs might be down or obscured by debris. You need to know at least 3 completely different routes home, and I mean really know them, not just the general direction. Drive them, walk them, memorize the landmarks. Explore side streets, back alleys, and walking paths that could help you avoid bottlenecks and danger zones. Your life might depend on knowing that narrow alley between the office buildings that connects 2 major streets. Paper maps and offline digital backups aren't just helpful, they're essential. Download maps to your phone right now, before you need them. The USGS website offers free topographical maps of your area. Print out local street maps and mark potential choke points, dangerous areas, and safe zones. Keep copies in your car, your office, and your home. Here's something most people never consider: why your comfortable office shoes could kill you. When infrastructure fails, you might need to walk 10, 15, or even 20 miles to get home. Those dress shoes or heels you're wearing right now, they'll destroy your feet before you make it 2 miles. Keep a pair of durable walking shoes in your car and another pair at your office. Your feet are your primary transportation when everything else fails. Let's talk about moving through a city when the lights go out. Blackout navigation is a skill that could save your life, but you need to do it smart. You'll need light, but not too much. A bright flashlight makes you a target and ruins your night vision. Use a small flashlight with a low lumen mode or a red filter to see without drawing attention. Headlamps and clip-on lights keep your hands free for climbing over obstacles or opening doors. If you're traveling with family or friends, establish rally points and backup meeting locations right now before disaster strikes. Communication will fail, so you need predetermined places to regroup if you get separated. Choose locations that are easy to find in the dark, and avoid obvious places like major intersections where crowds might gather. Reading urban danger zones in the dark becomes critical for survival. Large gatherings can quickly turn violent during a crisis. Avoid crowds and bottlenecks whenever possible. Stay alert, and keep your head on a swivel. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Now let's address the elephant in the room: water. This is where urban survival gets truly scary. When the power goes out, Water pressure in high-rise buildings disappears almost immediately. Even smaller buildings will only have whatever water is left in the pipes. Once that's gone, you're completely on your own. Here's what most people don't realize. Cities have water everywhere, but most of it will kill you if you drink it untreated. Puddles, ponds, and even some wells can be contaminated with chemicals, bacteria, and viruses that will put you down for days or weeks. You need both collection and purification strategies. Start storing water at home and at work right now. Keep bottled water under your desk, in your car, and in your emergency kit. But you also need ways to find and purify water when your stored supplies run out. A Grail purifier bottle removes bacteria, viruses, and many chemical contaminants. It's specifically designed for urban water sources that traditional filters can't handle. Here's a secret that could save your life: the Silcock key. This small tool allows access to water spigots on commercial buildings. Most people walk past these every day without realizing they're there. A Silcock key costs about $10 and could provide access to clean water when everything else fails. Always carry a stainless steel water bottle. It's durable for storage, and you can use it to boil water if you have a heat source. Water purification tablets are a lightweight backup, but remember, they won't remove chemical contaminants that are common in urban water sources. Food. Strategy for urban chaos is completely different from wilderness survival. Forget about foraging for berries or setting traps. You need portable, high-calorie nutrition that requires zero cooking. When you're trying to navigate through a chaotic city or evacuate quickly, stopping to cook a meal isn't just impractical, it's dangerous. Focus on foods that are non-perishable, high in calories, and easy to eat while moving. Energy bars like Cliff Bars, trail mix, jerky, and dried fruit are perfect. Keep a stash in your everyday carry bag, your desk at work, and your vehicle. These foods won't spoil, they pack a lot of energy, and you can eat them with one hand while walking. Strategic food storage at work and in vehicles is crucial if you have a long commute. Think about it. If disaster strikes while you're at the office, you might need fuel for a very long journey home. Your body burns significantly more calories when you're stressed and walking long distances while carrying a pack. Here's why cooking during evacuation is a deadly mistake. It requires you to stop, set up equipment, and create light, heat, and smells that attract attention. It ties you to one location when you need mobility. Save the cooking for when you've reached safety, not while you're still trying to get there. Urban environments create unique hazmat situations that wilderness survival guides never address. When buildings collapse, windows shatter, or industrial facilities are damaged, you're dealing with hazards that simply don't exist in nature. Broken glass and sharp metal debris can cut through regular clothing like it's paper. Airborne chemicals from damaged factories or vehicles can cause serious respiratory problems. Smoke from fires gets trapped between buildings and can quickly reach toxic levels. Essential protective gear doesn't have to scream "prepper" to be effective. A good pair of work gloves protects your hands from cuts and contaminants while looking completely normal. Safety glasses or wraparound sunglasses shield your eyes from debris. Long sleeves and pants reduce injury risk significantly. This isn't the time for shorts and sandals. An N95 mask helps against dust and smoke, but it won't protect you from chemical vapors or biological threats. For serious threats, you need real respiratory protection. A half-face or full-face respirator with proper filters can mean the difference between life and death in a chemical emergency. Child-specific respiratory protection is something most families never consider, but it's critical. Standard adult respirators don't fit children properly, leaving gaps that defeat the entire purpose. Specialized child escape respirators like the Mirror Safety CM3M offer positive pressure airflow, integrated hydration, and CBRN-rated filters. They're designed for kids as young as 2 and can make a critical difference in a chemical or biological emergency. Keep nitrile gloves for handling contaminated materials and contractor trash bags to protect your gear from rain or hazardous materials. These simple items are lightweight, inexpensive, and incredibly versatile. Let's talk about something most survival guides avoid: urban threat assessment. Disasters bring out both the best and worst in people. While many neighbors will help each other, you'll also face panic, opportunistic crime, and overwhelmed law enforcement. The normal social contracts that keep cities civilized can break down very quickly. Blending in could literally save your life. Don't look like someone who has valuable supplies or knows what they're doing. Avoid tactical-style clothing, military surplus gear, or anything that makes you stand out as prepared. Choose bags and clothing that look normal for your area. The gray man concept means being completely unremarkable and forgettable. Situational awareness in crowds and bottlenecks requires constant vigilance. Keep your head up and eyes moving. Identify exits and escape routes wherever you go. Watch people's body language and listen to conversations around you. Crowds can turn dangerous very quickly, and you want to be moving away from trouble before it fully develops. When it comes to legal self-defense options, know your local laws before disaster strikes. If your area allows concealed carry, that can be a strong option, but only if you're properly trained and licensed. Non-lethal options like pepper spray or a walking stick can provide some protection without the legal complications of firearms. Even a ballistic panel in your backpack can provide discreet protection from handgun rounds. Communication becomes critical when normal systems fail. When the grid goes down, you lose far more than just lights. News, navigation, and most forms of communication disappear simultaneously. You need backup systems that don't rely on the electrical grid or cell towers. Ham radio basics can keep you informed about emergency information when everything else fails. A small handheld radio can pick up FM stations, no-way weather alerts, and allow communication with other radio operators. You don't need a license to listen, only to transmit. Battery management and solar charging strategies become essential for extended outages. USB battery banks keep your phone and small devices charged, but they only last so long. Small solar chargers can extend your power indefinitely as long as you have sunlight. Invest in quality equipment. Cheap solar chargers often fail when you need them most. Family coordination without cell towers requires planning ahead. Establish communication schedules and backup meeting points. Simple walkie-talkies work for short-range communication with family members. GMRS radios have better range and power than basic FRS radios, but they do require an inexpensive license that covers your whole family. Finally, let's talk about the survival mindset framework that separates those who make it from those who don't. Planning versus improvising. Preparation wins every single time. No amount of gear will help if you don't have a plan. The people who survive urban disasters are those who thought through scenarios before they happened. Know your routes for both getting home and evacuating completely. Keep emergency supplies at work and in your vehicle, especially if you have a long commute. Identify a fallback location, maybe a friend or relative's house outside the immediate danger zone. Knowing when to shelter versus when to evacuate can be the most important decision you ever make. Sometimes, staying put is the safest option. Other times, staying in place is a death sentence. You need to assess each situation as it develops and be ready to adapt your plan. Practice routines that could save your family. Start with simple exercises. Walk your emergency routes regularly. Test your gear to make sure it actually works when you need it. Review and update your plans as your situation changes. The family that practices together has the best chance of surviving together. Remember, in urban survival, your first 72 hours determine everything. The strategies we've covered today aren't just theory, they're your lifeline when civilization's safety net disappears. Most people will be completely unprepared when disaster strikes. They'll be waiting for someone else to save them. But you now have the knowledge to take control of your own survival. Start preparing today before you need these skills. Your future self will thank you for the time you invest now in learning how to survive when the city itself becomes your greatest enemy.